You've been feeling it for weeks now, maybe months. That strange quiet in your chest where the chaos used to live. That stillness where you used to spin stories about what he's doing, who he's with, whether he's thinking of you. Something has shifted, and you didn't force it. You didn't manifest it through another ritual or affirmation. You just woke up one morning and realized you weren't waiting anymore. Not because you stopped caring, not because you gave up, but because something deeper took over. Your soul decided it was done performing for a connection that should have felt like home from the beginning. And now that you've stepped back into yourself, now that you've stopped chasing and started choosing you, the energy has changed. You can feel it. He can feel it. The entire field between you has reorganized itself around your silence, and he's standing at a threshold he can't charm his way through. This is his final test, not the one where he proves he loves you, the one where he proves he can hold the weight of real union without collapsing under the truth of what it requires. The universe doesn't care about his words anymore. It's watching his nervous system. It's measuring whether he can stand in the presence of a woman who is no longer available to save him from himself. A woman who has alchemized her pain into power and her longing into sovereignty. You became the frequency, and now he has to rise to meet it, or reveal he's still living in the version of himself that only knows how to want you, not how to honor you. If you felt this shift, if you recognize this exact moment where you stopped being the one who waits and became the one who simply is, I want you to drop a comment below and tell me what changed in him the moment you chose yourself. Or simply type, "I am the frequency," and let that truth anchor into your bones. And if these transmissions speak to the deepest part of your soul, subscribe so you never miss the guidance that's meant to find you exactly when you need it most. Let's talk about what's really happening right now. Because this isn't just another phase in the twin flame journey. This is the final examination before divine union becomes possible. And it's not happening in the ethers or the dream space or through telepathic communication. It's happening in the densest, most unforgiving realm of all, physical reality, the place where his actions either match his soul's recognition of you or they don't. The place where follow-through matters more than feelings, where presence speaks louder than promises, where accountability isn't a performance, it's a way of breathing. You've done your work, you know you have. You've faced the shadows he ran from. You've sat with the abandonment wound that his disappearing act ripped wide open. You've cried on bathroom floors and questioned your sanity and wondered if you made the whole thing up. You've done the meditations and the healing sessions and the inner child work. You've learned to regulate your own nervous system instead of waiting for him to come back and soothe the ache he caused. You've transmuted your anger into understanding and your grief into grace. You've forgiven him 17 times in your journal, and maybe even out loud in the moments when your heart cracked open wide enough to remember that he's just as terrified as you are, just in different ways. And then something shifted. You stopped doing the work to get him back and started doing it to get yourself back. That's when everything changed. That's when you stopped being the chaser and became the embodiment of what union actually feels like. Whole, sovereign, clear. You stopped checking his social media to decode his emotional state. You stopped asking the cards if he's coming back. You stopped sending energy into the connection to try to wake him up or pull him closer. You let go, not in defeat, in completion. You released the need for him to validate that what you felt was real, because you know it was real. Your body carries the memory of that recognition. Your soul doesn't need his confession to confirm what it already knows. But here's what you might not have realized. The moment you dropped the rope, the moment you stopped pulling and pushing and trying to make him see, you activated the final test. Not for you, for him. Because the universe has been preparing him this whole time too, just in ways that look nothing like your journey. Where you've been learning to embody the divine feminine through surrender and stillness and self-love. He's been learning to embody the divine masculine through facing everything he's been running from his whole life. His fear of inadequacy, his terror of being truly seen, his belief that he's not enough, that he'll fail you, that he'll disappoint you the way he's disappointed everyone who ever expected something from him, including himself. The divine masculine's journey is not pretty. It's not poetic. It doesn't come with a spiritual awakening soundtrack and a community of people cheering him on. It's lonely. It's brutal. It's the kind of internal collapse that happens in silence because he's been conditioned his whole life to never let anyone see him break. So he breaks alone. He breaks in his car on the way to work. He breaks at 3 a.m. staring at the ceiling. He breaks every time he sees something that reminds him of you and realizes he walked away from the one person who saw him, really saw him, and loved him anyway. Not because he was perfect, because he was real, but breaking isn't enough. The universe doesn't grant union because someone finally feels their feelings. It grants union when both people have become safe enough to hold the intensity of what this connection actually is. And for the masculine, that means he has to pass a test that has nothing to do with how much he loves you, and everything to do with whether he's grown into a man who can be in a relationship with a woman like you, a woman who knows her worth, a woman who won't shrink to make him comfortable, a woman who won't mother him or manage him or fix him, a woman who will love him completely and also let him fall if he chooses to stay unconscious. This is where most men fail. Not because they don't care, because they're still living in the version of masculinity that thinks love is about intensity and pursuit and winning. They think if they show up with the right words or the right gesture or the right apology, you'll open the door and everything will go back to the way it was. But you're not the same woman he left, and the door he's standing in front of doesn't open with charm. It opens with consistency, with accountability, with a regulated nervous system and a willingness to be uncomfortable while he learns how to love you the way your soul needs to be loved, not the way his ego wants to perform love. The final test is simple. Can he be in your presence without trying to control the outcome? Can he honor your boundary without punishing you for having won? Can he take responsibility for the pain he caused without making it about his shame or his guilt or his need to be forgiven right now so he can stop feeling bad? Can he slow down when every instinct in his body is screaming at him to speed up, to lock you down, to secure you before you realize you don't need him anymore? Can he meet you where you are without asking you to meet him where he was? Because here's the truth. The version of him that left, the version that ran, the version that chose fear over love, that version cannot hold you. That version will hurt you again. Not because he's a bad person, because he's not ready. And the universe is fiercely protective of you now. It will not allow you to abandon yourself again for a man who hasn't done his work. It will not allow you to override your intuition because you miss him. It will not allow you to settle for potential when you've become the embodiment of presence. So it's testing him every single day, in ways he may not even recognize. It's watching how he responds when you don't text back immediately. It's measuring whether he can sit with the discomfort of not knowing where he stands with you, instead of demanding reassurance. It's noticing whether he's doing his own healing work or just waiting for you to take him back so he can feel okay again. It's checking if he's closing the doors he left open, the situationships he kept on standby, the distractions he used to avoid feeling the depth of what you triggered in him. The universe is asking him, are you ready to be the man she needs? Or are you still the boy who only knows how to want her? Because wanting is easy. Any man can want a woman like you. Your magic, your depth. You're the kind of woman who sees souls, and that's rare, and he knows it. But wanting you and being ready for you are two completely different frequencies. One is about him and what he feels and what he needs. The other is about whether he's capable of showing up for you in a way that doesn't require you to dim your light or lower your standards or carry the relationship on your back. Let's go deeper into what this test actually looks like. Because it's not one moment. It's a series of moments, a pattern, a way of being that either builds trust or confirms that he's still operating from the same unconscious programming that caused the separation in the first place. The first thing the universe watches is his relationship with your boundary. When you say no, when you say not yet, when you say I need space, when you say I need to see consistent action before I let you back into my heart, does he respect that, or does he try to negotiate? Does he honor your pace, or does he try to convince you that you're being too cautious, too guarded, too afraid? Does he understand that your boundary is not a wall, it's a threshold, and he has to prove he can stand on the other side of it without demanding entry? A man who's ready for union doesn't argue with your no. He doesn't make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. He doesn't tell you you're overthinking or living in the past or punishing him for mistakes he's already apologized for. He receives your boundary as information, as a mirror, as a loving invitation to show up differently. And then he does the work to become someone who can meet that boundary without resentment, without ego, without the need to prove you wrong. But a man who's still unconscious, a man who hasn't passed the test yet, he'll push. He'll say he understands, but his energy will be laced with frustration. He'll agree to give you space, but he'll text you 3 days later with some excuse to check in. He'll say he respects your need for time, but he'll show up at places he knows you'll be. He'll perform respect while his actions scream control. And your body will feel it, that grip, that pressure, that subtle manipulation disguised as persistence. And you'll know, not because you're judging him, because you've become so attuned to your own frequency that anything out of alignment feels like static. The second thing the universe measures is his capacity for accountability. Real accountability, not the kind that comes with a monologue about how sorry he is and how much he's changed. not the kind that's designed to make you feel bad for not forgiving him fast enough. Real accountability is quiet. It's specific. It's about naming exactly what he did, how it impacted you, and what he's doing differently now. It doesn't center his shame. It centers your experience. It doesn't ask you to comfort him while he processes his guilt. It holds space for your pain without making it about him. A man who's ready for union can say, "I disappeared when you needed me, and that was a betrayal of the trust you gave me. I see how that hurt you. I see how that made you question the connection. I see how that left you carrying something you should never have had to carry alone. And I'm working on the part of me that runs when things get real. I'm in therapy. I'm facing my abandonment wound. I'm learning how to stay present even when I'm scared. And I'm not asking you to forgive me right now. I'm just letting you know that I see what I did, and I'm committed to becoming someone who won't do that again." That's accountability. It's not about the apology. It's about the repair. It's about demonstrating through consistent action that he's not the same man who hurt you. And it takes time. It takes repetition. It takes showing up on the boring days, the days when there's no crisis or drama or intensity to fuel the connection. It takes proving that he can be steady when steady is not exciting. But a man who's still in his ego, he'll apologize once and expect you to move on. He'll say, "I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me?" He'll make you feel like you're holding a grudge when really you're just waiting to see if his behavior matches his words. He'll get defensive when you bring up the past because he doesn't understand that the past isn't the past for you. It's still living in your nervous system, and it won't leave until he proves that the future will be different. The third thing the universe watches is his relationship with himself. Because the truth is, he can't love you in a healthy way if he doesn't love himself. He can't show up for you consistently if he's not showing up for himself. He can't hold space for your emotions if he's terrified of his own. The divine masculine's final test is not about winning you back. It's about becoming a man who's whole enough to be in union with a woman who's whole. And that requires him to do his inner work. Not because you told him to, because his soul is demanding it. Is he going to therapy? Is he journaling? Is he meditating? Is he facing the wounds that made him run in the first place? Is he looking at his relationship with his mother, his father, his exes, himself? Is he asking himself the hard questions? Why do I sabotage love? Why do I run when I feel too much? Why do I choose unavailability? Why do I keep women at a distance? Why do I perform instead of being real? Is he doing that work, or is he just waiting for the pain of missing you to go away so he can go back to living unconsciously? Because here's what the universe knows. If he comes back to you without doing that work, the same patterns will repeat. He'll love you intensely for a few months, and then he'll start to pull away. He'll get triggered by your depth and start to resent you for it. He'll feel suffocated by the intimacy he once craved. He'll find reasons to create distance because he never learned how to be close without losing himself. And you'll be right back where you started, except this time you'll have even more to heal from. The universe is protecting you from that. It's keeping the door closed until he's ready. And the only way he gets ready is by doing the work. Alone, without you as his therapist or his mother or his motivation. He has to want to heal for himself. He has to want to grow into the kind of man who can be a true partner, not because he's afraid of losing you, but because he's committed to becoming the fullest expression of himself. And here's the part that might be hard to hear. You can't do this work for him. You can't heal him. You can't fix him. You can't love him into wholeness. That's not your job. Your job is to stay in your own lane, to keep choosing yourself, to keep building a life that's so full and so beautiful that you're not sitting around waiting for him to get his shit together. Your job is to be the frequency, to embody union within yourself, to become so aligned with your own truth that you're no longer available for anything less than a man who's done the same. Because when you do that, when you really do that, something shifts in the field. He feels it. He can't explain it, but he feels it. The energetic cord that used to pull him toward you out of need or longing or unfinished business, that cord transforms. It becomes something else. An invitation, a frequency, a standard, and he has to rise to meet it. He has to become the man who can match that energy, or he has to let you go. Those are his only two options, and the universe will make sure he faces that choice over and over again until he makes it consciously. Now let's talk about what happens when he starts to pass the test, because you'll feel it before you see it. The energy will shift. The desperation will be gone. The performance will be gone. He won't be trying to convince you of anything. He'll just be different. Quieter, steadier, more grounded. He'll reach out, but it won't feel like a tactic. It will feel like truth. He'll say things like, "I've been doing a lot of work on myself. I'm starting to understand why I ran. I'm not asking you for anything. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. I see what I lost. And I'm not the same person I was. And you'll feel it in your body. That recognition, not the butterflies, not the chaos, the calm, the sense that something has shifted in him, that he's not performing growth, he's living it. You'll notice that he respects your space without making it about him, that he answers your questions without getting defensive, that he takes responsibility without centering his shame, that he's patient, that he's consistent, that he's not trying to rush you into anything, that he's willing to earn your trust back, one day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment of integrity at a time. But here's the thing. Even when he starts to pass the test, your job is not to make it easy for him. Your job is not to reward progress with access. Your job is to stay in your truth, to keep your boundary loving and firm, to let him prove that this isn't just a phase, it's a transformation. Because the universe is still watching, and so is your nervous system. And both of them need to see that he can sustain this new way of being, that he can stay regulated when you're not available, that he can handle your no without retreating, that he can be in the discomfort of not knowing without creating drama to resolve the tension. You'll also notice that the way he talks about the connection changes. He stops talking about how much he misses you and starts talking about how he's becoming a better man. He stops making it about what he lost and starts making it about who he's choosing to be. He stops asking what he can do to fix things and starts showing you through his actions that he's already fixing himself. He stops performing for you and starts living in alignment with his own values. And that's when you know. That's when you know he's not just trying to get you back. He's trying to become someone worthy of the love you offer. The universe will also test his commitment to transparency. Because one of the ways the divine masculine fails this test is by keeping doors half open, by maintaining connections with exes or situationships or women who are waiting in the wings, by not fully closing chapters that should have ended months ago, by keeping his options open just in case things don't work out with you. And your intuition will pick up on that. You'll feel the lack of clarity, the sense that he's not all in, the energy of hedging bets, and it will feel like betrayal even if he's not technically doing anything wrong. A man who's ready for union closes those doors completely, not because you asked him to, because he knows that union requires full presence, full commitment, full transparency. He doesn't leave you guessing about where you stand. He doesn't make you compete for his attention. He doesn't keep you in a space of uncertainty while he figures out what he wants. He knows what he wants, you, and he organizes his life around that truth. He removes the distractions. He ends the entanglements. He makes it clear to everyone in his life that he's no longer available because his heart belongs to you. And when he does that, when he really does that, you'll feel it. The field will clear. The confusion will lift. You'll stop feeling like you're one of many options and start feeling like you're the only choice. And that's not about ego. That's about energetic integrity. That's about him being in full alignment with the connection instead of straddling two worlds. But if he's not there yet, if he's still keeping those doors open, if he's still entertaining connections that have no future, if he's still feeding energy into dynamics that keep him distracted from his own healing, then he's not ready, and the universe will not let you move forward with him. It will keep the door closed, not to punish him, to protect you, because you deserve a man who's all in, a man who's clear, a man who's not asking you to share space with ghosts. Here's another layer. The universe is also watching how he handles conflict, because conflict is inevitable, even in divine union, especially in divine union. Because this connection is designed to trigger every unhealed wound, every unconscious pattern, every place where you're still not free. And when conflict arises, when something gets activated, when one of you feels hurt or misunderstood or triggered, how does he respond? Does he shut down? Does he defend? Does he make you the problem? Does he gaslight you into doubting your own experience? Or does he stay present? Does he listen? Does he take responsibility for his part? Does he repair without making you beg for it? A man who's ready for union doesn't run from conflict. He doesn't avoid hard conversations. He doesn't disappear when things get uncomfortable. He leans in. He stays. He says, I hear you. I see how my words landed. That wasn't my intention, but I understand that impact matters more than intention. Let me try again. Let me show up differently. He doesn't make you the enemy. He makes the pattern the enemy, and he works with you to break it. But a man who's still unconscious, he'll make conflict about winning, about being right, about protecting his ego. He'll shut down or blow up. He'll stonewall you or overwhelm you. He'll make you feel crazy for having feelings. He'll twist your words until you're apologizing for bringing something up in the first place. And your nervous system will go into survival mode. And you'll remember why you put the boundary up in the first place. The universe is watching all of this. It's taking notes. It's measuring his capacity to be in relationship with a woman who's awake. Because that's what you are now. Awake, conscious, clear. You're not bypassing your feelings or pretending everything is fine when it's not. You're not shrinking to keep the peace. You're not abandoning yourself to keep him comfortable. You're standing in your truth, and he has to be able to handle that. He has to be able to be in the fire with you without making you wrong for lighting the match. And then there's the test of time. Because growth isn't linear. Healing isn't a straight line. He's going to have good days and bad days. Days when he's solid and days when he wobbles. Days when he's clear and days when the old programming tries to take over. And the question is, can he catch himself? Can he notice when he's slipping back into old patterns and course correct before he causes harm? Can he own it when he messes up and repair it quickly instead of letting it fester? Can he be humble enough to say, I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, but I'm committed, and I'm not going anywhere. That's what the universe is looking for, not perfection, commitment. Not a man who never makes mistakes, a man who takes responsibility when he does. Not a man who has it all figured out, a man who's willing to keep growing, keep learning, keep choosing love even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. And here's what you need to understand. This test isn't happening because the universe is cruel. It's happening because union is sacred. Because what you're building together isn't just a relationship, it's a container for massive transformation. It's a portal, a frequency, a field that has the power to heal generations of pain and activate new timelines of love. And that kind of union requires two people who are strong enough to hold it. Two people who have done the work. Two people who can be in the intensity without destroying each other or themselves. So the universe makes sure. It makes sure he's ready. It makes sure you're ready. It makes sure the timing is right. It makes sure the foundation is solid. Because if it's not, if either of you tries to force union before you're both ready, it will collapse. And it will hurt more than the separation ever did. Now let's talk about your role in all of this. Because while he's being tested, so are you. Not in the same way. But you're being asked to hold a frequency that most women can't hold. The frequency of self-love in the face of uncertainty. The frequency of boundaries in the face of longing. The frequency of faith in the face of doubt. You're being asked to trust that if this union is meant to be, it will be. And if it's not, something better is coming. You're being asked to release control, to stop trying to manage the outcome, to stop trying to fix him or heal him or wake him up, to stop giving your energy to someone who hasn't earned the right to receive it. You're being asked to live your life fully, completely, joyfully, to build a life that's so rich and so full that his presence would be an addition, not a completion, to date yourself, to fall in love with yourself, to create art, build businesses, nurture friendships, travel, dream, expand. To stop putting your life on hold while you wait for him to get his act together. Because the moment you do that, the moment you choose yourself fully, you pass your test. And the universe opens doors you didn't even know existed. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing him to come back, he feels it. The moment you stop waiting, he starts moving. The moment you release him energetically, he's free to choose you consciously. because he's no longer running from your need. He's being called by your frequency. And that changes everything. But you have to mean it. You can't fake self-love to manipulate him into coming back. You can't pretend you're okay when you're falling apart inside. You can't perform detachment while secretly obsessing over him. The universe sees through that, and so does he. Your energy has to be clean. Your choice has to be real. You have to genuinely be okay with or without him. You have to genuinely be building a life that doesn't require his presence to feel complete. You have to genuinely be whole. And when you get there, when you really get there, you'll notice something. You'll stop checking to see if he's watching your stories. You'll stop wondering if he's thinking about you. You'll stop analyzing every interaction for signs that he's changing. You'll just live, and it will feel like freedom. And that freedom is the frequency that calls in union, not the longing, not the need, the freedom. Because union isn't about two halves becoming whole. It's about two whole people choosing to merge their magic. It's about two sovereign beings deciding to build something together that neither of them could build alone. It's about partnership, collaboration, co-creation. And that can only happen when both people are standing in their power, when both people have done the work, when both people are ready. So while he's being tested, you're being refined, you're being polished, you're being prepared for the kind of love that will change your life. And the universe is making sure you're ready too. It's making sure you won't abandon yourself the moment he shows up. It's making sure you won't dim your light to make him comfortable. It's making sure you won't settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. And if he passes the test, if he does the work, if he becomes the man who can hold you, you'll know. Not because he says the right things, because his energy will match yours, because you'll feel safe, because your nervous system will relax in his presence instead of activating. Because the relationship will feel like home, not a battlefield. Because you'll be able to be fully yourself without fear of judgment or abandonment. Because he'll see you, all of you, and love you not despite your edges, but because of them. And when that happens, when you both pass the test, union isn't something you have to force or chase or manifest. It just is. It unfolds naturally, organically, divinely, because the universe has been orchestrating this the whole time. Every separation, every lesson, every moment of pain, it was all leading here, to this moment, to this choice, to this love. But if he doesn't pass the test, if he's not ready, if he can't rise to meet you, then the universe will close that door gently and redirect you towards something better. Toward a love that doesn't require you to shrink. Toward a man who's already done his work. Toward a union that feels easy because both people are aligned. And you'll look back one day and thank the universe for protecting you, for not letting you settle, for keeping the door closed until you were both ready, or until it became clear that this particular door wasn't the one meant to open. So where does this leave you right now? Right here, in this very moment, in this sacred pause between what was and what will be. It leaves you standing at a crossroads, a powerful, transformative crossroads, and it leaves you with a choice that will define not just this connection, but the entire trajectory of your life moving forward. You can keep waiting, keep sitting by the phone, keep checking his social media, keep analyzing every word, every silence, every small gesture for signs that he's finally ready. you can keep hoping. Keep telling yourself that maybe next week will be different. Maybe next month he'll wake up. Maybe after this happens or that happens, he'll finally see what's right in front of him. Keep trying to control the outcome. Keep manipulating situations to force proximity. Keep strategizing and planning and trying to engineer the perfect conditions for his awakening. Keep exhausting yourself with the mental gymnastics of trying to make someone choose you. Or you can surrender. You can release your grip on how this is supposed to unfold. You can stop trying to write the ending before the story has fully revealed itself. You can trust that if this is meant to be, no amount of distance or time or challenge will prevent it. Trust that the universe has a plan far more beautiful than anything your limited human perspective could design. Trust that divine timing is real, and it's working in your favor even when it doesn't feel like it. You can let go of the obsession, let go of the constant monitoring, let go of the need to know right now. Let go of the fantasy you've been clutching so tightly that your hands are bleeding. You can choose yourself so fully, so completely, so unapologetically that his choice becomes irrelevant. Not because you don't care, not because you've stopped loving him, but because you love yourself more, because you've remembered that your worth is not dependent on his readiness, because you've reclaimed your power from the altar of his potential. You can build a life so beautiful, so rich, so fulfilling that you're not sitting around wondering if he's going to pass the test. You can pour your energy into your passions, your purpose, your dreams that have been waiting patiently in the wings while you've been consumed by this connection. You can create friendships that nourish you, experiences that expand you, a daily reality that makes you feel alive whether he's in it or not. You can become so aligned with your own frequency, so rooted in your own truth, so anchored in your own worth that union finds you instead of you chasing it. You can raise your vibration so high that you become a beacon, a lighthouse, a magnetic force that draws in everything that matches your energy without effort, without manipulation, without compromising who you are. And here's what I want you to know, what I need you to understand in the depths of your being. You're not doing this alone. Even when it feels like you're the only person in the world who understands this pain, you're not. The universe is with you, conspiring on your behalf, orchestrating synchronicities, sending you signs and messages and confirmations that you're on the right path. Your guides are with you, whispering wisdom in your quiet moments, sending you strength when you feel like you can't take another step, protecting you from connections and situations that would derail your journey. Your higher self is with you. That wisest, most evolved version of you is reaching back through time and space to hold your hand through this. She already knows how this ends. She's already living in the reality you're moving toward. And she's so proud of you for not giving up. Every woman who's ever walked this path is with you. Every woman who's had to choose herself when it felt impossible. Every woman who's held a boundary with a man she loved deeply. Every woman who's waited and wondered and wrestled with the question of whether to stay or go. We see you. We recognize the courage it takes to do what you're doing. We honor you. We bow to the strength you're demonstrating even when you feel weak. We know how hard this is. We're not minimizing it. We're not telling you to just get over it or move on or that it's not that deep. We know how much it hurts to love someone who's not ready, to see their potential so clearly while they're still stumbling in the dark, to feel the depth of what could be while living in the reality of what is. We know how exhausting it is to hold a boundary when all you want to do is let him in. When every cell in your body is screaming to just answer that text, to just give him one more chance, to just lower your standards a little bit, because surely this time will be different. We know how lonely it feels to choose yourself when everyone around you is telling you to compromise, when your friends don't understand why you won't just settle, when your family thinks you're being too picky, when society tells you that you should be grateful for whatever crumbs of attention you receive, when the world keeps insisting that your standards are too high and your expectations are unrealistic, and you need to be more flexible, more understanding, more accommodating. We know that loneliness, that isolation, that feeling of being the only one who believes that love should be more than this. But we also know what's on the other side of this. We've been there. We've walked through this fire and emerged transformed. We know the kind of love that's waiting for you, the kind that doesn't require you to shrink, the kind that doesn't make you question your worth, the kind that shows up consistently, openly, without games or confusion or mixed signals. We know the version of yourself you're becoming, stronger, wiser, more grounded, more clear, more powerful, more magnetic, more whole. We know the magic that's being birthed through this pain, the gifts that are being forged in this fire, the wisdom that's being earned through every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you chose yourself when it would have been easier to abandon yourself. And we're here to remind you that you're not broken. You haven't failed. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much, not too sensitive, not too intense, not too emotional, not too demanding. You're not asking for too much. Basic respect, consistency, emotional availability, conscious communication, these are not unreasonable requests. These are the bare minimum for sacred partnership. You're not crazy for wanting a love that's real and deep and conscious, for refusing to settle for surface-level connection, for insisting on a love that honors your soul, not just your body, for demanding a partnership that supports your growth, not stunts it. You deserve that, not because you're perfect, not because you've done everything right, but because you're a divine being having a human experience and love is your birthright. You deserve all of it, the passion and the peace, the chemistry and the commitment, the magic and the stability, the spiritual connection and the practical partnership. And it's coming. It's already on its way to you. Maybe with him, if he does the work, if he rises, if he transforms, if he becomes the man capable of meeting you where you are, maybe with someone else, someone you haven't met yet, someone who's also doing his work right now, preparing himself to be worthy of you, someone who will make you grateful that nothing else worked out. But it's coming. That much is certain. So, beloved, let this be your reminder, your anchor, your truth. You are not just the woman who waits. You are not defined by your patience or your hoping or your longing. You are the woman who becomes, who transforms, who evolves, who uses every experience, even the painful ones, as fuel for her evolution. You are not just hoping for union. You are embodying it. You are becoming it. You are living it right now in the relationship you have with yourself, Every time you choose yourself, every time you honor what you need over what he wants, every time you speak your truth even when your voice shakes, every time you hold your boundary, every time you say no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does, every time you stay in your truth even when it's uncomfortable, even when it would be easier to pretend, even when it costs you the connection, even when it means standing alone, you are becoming the frequency of union. You are calibrating to the vibration of sacred partnership. You are embodying the love you wish to receive. And that frequency is magnetic, powerfully, undeniably magnetic. It calls in what's aligned and repels what's not. It attracts people, opportunities, and experiences that match your energy. It creates space for what's meant for you by clearing out what isn't. It doesn't beg. It doesn't plead for someone to see its value. It doesn't chase. It doesn't run after people who are walking away. It doesn't lower itself to convince someone of its worth. It simply is. It exists. It radiates. It shines. And everything that's meant for you will find its way to you when the timing is divine, when all the pieces are in place, when you're ready, when he's ready if he's part of your story, when the universe has finished preparing you both for what's coming. His final test is not your responsibility. You cannot take it for him. You cannot study for him. You cannot pass it on his behalf. Your only responsibility is to keep choosing you, to keep prioritizing your well-being, your growth, your peace, to keep building your life, to keep creating a reality that fulfills you, to keep pursuing your purpose and your passions, to keep trusting the process, even when you can't see the full picture, even when it feels like nothing is happening, even when the waiting feels endless. To keep believing that love, real love, sacred love, is not only possible but inevitable. Not as a naive fantasy, but as a deep knowing. Because you've done the work, you've faced your shadows, you've healed your wounds, you've raised your standards, you've learned the lessons, you've earned it. And the universe is preparing something so beautiful for you that one day you'll understand why nothing else worked out. One day you'll look back and see that every heartbreak was protection. Every disappointment was redirection. Every closed door was leading you here, to this love, to this life, to this version of yourself that you could never have become any other way. So tell me, beautiful soul, have you felt this shift? Have you felt the moment when you stopped waiting and started becoming? What changed in you when you chose yourself fully? Drop a comment and share your experience. Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today to give herself permission to let go and trust the journey. You are not alone in this. We are walking this path together, and every step you take toward yourself is a step toward the love you came here to experience.